Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up, weekdays, catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, y'all. Let's not forget that. Good afternoon. Hopefully you guys got your coffee, got some errands done today, got all the things that you needed to get done for the day, because honestly, today they have been cooking. It has been cooking in that courtroom. I have got to tell you that. There are some very interesting things, and I'm telling you right now, Diddy might be in some serious trouble right now. Yeah, I said it. But still, no matter what, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot that happened in the first half of this trial. And then, of course, we're going to be going into the live, ongoing. We're going to catch up to the court, okay? So for those of y'all who haven't been here, who haven't been watching the trial at all this morning, I'm going to catch you up on everything and then some that's been going on. So do me a favor. Before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, make sure you crush that follow button on those platforms, okay? I'm on all of them, pretty much. And of course, hit that hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel, okay? Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Crush that subscribe button over there, please, and thank you, all right? Hit that join button down below, become a member. Check out my Patreon, check out my locals, and of course, check out pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, pascalmerch.com. Okay. We have got to get into this conversation, okay? Never a dull moment, guys. Never a dull moment. Let me just say that. There has been a lot of stuff that's been percolating in the courtroom, even in the courtroom, not just in the trial, while Diddy is literally fighting for his life right now, okay? Which right now, this moment, the one moment that happened before lunch, not so good. But there's been other crazy moments that happened before they even finished, before they even had a break for lunch, all right? A woman gets kicked out of the courtroom for screaming out random obscenities, basically saying they're trying to take you down, Diddy. Like, clearly a Diddy fan. And then there's, like I said it before, there's nothing wrong with being a friend of Diddy's. Just don't ever be the one caught holding the baby oil. Okay, just don't. All right, and don't drink any of his anything that he hands you. Just don't. And I think you're gonna be okay if you just keep it more than a flagpole's length of a distance away from him. All right, you should be okay. All right, but still, nonetheless, there are some supporters that are out here that are basically saying, "Hey, they were in the courtroom. Well, we already knew that this was a circus." But now the circus is in town. And Diddy is most definitely the ringleader, okay? He is. He probably smirked when he saw that. He's like, that's right. I'm winning this case by the court of public opinion. But here's the thing, though. He's out of his mind. You see what I'm saying? He gone. This mind is riddled with all kinds of stuff, all right? All kinds of stuff. It is completely churning with, it doesn't even work anymore. It's just, you know what I'm saying? He rusted the hell out of that machinery in his brain because of all the chemicals that he keeps consuming. That 2C, let's be real. All right? He's on another planet. Even when he's sober, his brain chemistry is off. But I'm sure he's like, yeah, that's what they like. I got these mother lovers. You know what I'm saying? Can't stop. Won't stop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me, though. Then there's somebody else who got in trouble as well. This is interesting. a YouTuber, was on after they got done with the trial. And I had a feeling this was going to happen. Okay? Yes, Tiffany, real quick. Tiffany, absolutely. Done lost his rabbit mind. Okay? He's gone. He still thinks he's on top of the world, Gracie. Or Casey. Is it? I'm on top of the world, Casey. Or is it Gracie? I thought it was Gracie. I know that's a deep cut, but somebody knows it. Somebody out there, some cinephile, some movie nerd is going to be like, well, actually, it's... Is it I'm on top of the world, Gracie, or on top of the world, Casey? But you get what I'm saying, all right? He feels like he is untouchable, and that will still stay in his mind even while he's locked up. I'm telling you right now. Might as well throw him into a psych ward because he will think that he is still on top of the world, even when people are looking at him like a pariah. But here's the thing. Back to what I was saying. Allegedly, and I said someone was going to say something, man. I told y'all. I said somebody going to say out loud after being in that courtroom, they are going to expose Mia. So what happened? Somebody allegedly walked out of the courtroom and said, this be most definitely 110% this particular person. And they named her outright. Now, let me explain something here, okay? They were in the courtroom, okay? Now, there have been videos and all that. There's speculation out here for us that are on the outside that have not seen her inside the courtroom. There's a difference being outside the courtroom, not seeing her at all and going, okay, could this be this person? Don't know. It's a drastic difference when you have somebody who's in the courtroom, seeing her for themselves and actually saying her legal name right when they walk out of the courtroom whilst doing live videos. This wasn't a thing like, oh, could it be this person? Could it be this person? I don't know, but here's the video that's being circulated, and it could very well be her because she's saying this, this, and this, blah, blah, blah. Here's what she could look like, right? It's a drastic difference from somebody who's actually in the courtroom, seeing somebody sitting there, right? And going, oh, that's definitely such and such name, right? That's exactly what happened to a specific person. I don't know who it is. I promise you, if I had known, I would have said something. Don't worry, Pinar. I'm going to get to all the super chats and everything, so just give me a second, all right? But I'm telling you right now, every single person, just let me cook. Let me cook real quick. Every single person that's in that courtroom, the last thing they need to be doing is walking out and saying, it is most definitely this particular person. There could be speculations all day long, right? People could be throwing out a name, throwing out multiple names, but it's drastically different when you're actually in the courtroom and you see the person's face and you go, that's definitely her, right? So this particular person got banned from going into the courtroom. So they can't go and see the trial anymore. So if they flew in to cover this particular trial, well, they just wasted a whole bunch of money, okay? Because of one big mistake, saying that particular person's name out loud and confirming it. Like I said, it's drastically different when you say, could it be this person? I don't know, maybe it is. And actually being in the room, seeing the person's face and actually saying that person's name live. Instead of just saying, Mia said this, Mia said that, you're actually saying her legal name. That's a bad move. Okay? Just so you know. All right. So again, woman done lost her mind. And what's funny is, according to a reporter from Law and Crime, the lady that actually got escorted out of the courtroom, apparently the press, the professional press, okay, not us, the ones that are covered by NBC, Washington Post, New York Times, etc., Law and Crime, Court TV, etc. You know what I mean? And shout out to all of them. But apparently, according to all of them, They were seeing this woman at the courtroom or in the courtroom constantly, to the point where there was a bet on when she was going to actually lose her marbles. Yeah, that there was a conversation between media, okay, mainstream media, not internet journalism, but mainstream media. They literally had a conversation on when she's going to actually blow her top. And apparently today was the day. They had to escort her, and apparently she was sitting there going, go ahead, use it. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. But she said, go ahead, use a weapon on me. Because, cops were escorting her out. And apparently they said, we will tase you. Sweetheart, we will tase you. And apparently she said some of along the lines of like, use a gun on me. Why hold on. Why would you ever want anyone to pull the pew-pew out on you? Why? This was the hill that she was willing to perish on, guys. She was willing to cash in all the damn checks, all of her chips, that's what I meant, solely for the diddler. Yeah, you know what, Tiffany? Yeah, it's like, why? but why? Baby, why? He going down. You want to know why he's going down? Because right now they have just shown something in this testimony by this guy by the name of Eddy Garcia that adds more to the RICO claims that prosecution are trying to drill all the way down south, all the way downtown. Okay? They're trying to drill, baby, drill it, drill, baby, drill. That's what they're doing with Eddy Garcia's testimony. Diddy's in big trouble on this one. Like I told you guys, I don't do a great job all the time, okay? I don't do a great job all the time, but I'm going to preface this. I try as best as I can to balance, okay? There are moments where it's like, oh, damn, prosecution got his ass. But then there are moments where I'm like, ooh, defense came in with the fire. And they got a good point right there. So I'm going to be real, because some of y'all be like, you're so biased. How dare you? You're so biased, Pascal. I hate this channel, unsubbed. And it's like, wait a second. I'm talking about both sides. And if there's solid information, solid questions that knock this mother lover's whatever side, the defense or the prosecution's narrative outside the park, I'm going to talk about it. Okay? I'm gonna talk about it. So don't be like, oh, you biased, Pascal. Don't be mad. Because don't worry, there might be a question or two later where I'm like, oh, damn, the defense has a good point right there. Like the Mia's cross yesterday was brutal. And if anyone says otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. It was brutal. There are moments that you're like, yeah, why would you do that? Why wait all this time and not say not a damn thing? Wait a second. So all the essay happened before, and all the other crazy stuff that you claim that he did happened before you filed the civil lawsuit against him, in which you got $400,000. But wait a second. You mean to tell me you didn't throw in the SA into that lawsuit? Because you know for a fact, if the SA really did happen to you and you were in the middle of this lawsuit for him trying to get that 10 mil, you would have gotten that 10 mil if you threw in the SA claims. But you didn't. That's weird. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that there's a lot of people out here that process things in due time. Not everybody is, not everybody processes trauma the same way. But at the same time, when you're sitting there going, I'm getting what I rightfully deserve because of all the disastrous things you did to me, right? Wouldn't that be an important piece to throw into your lawsuit, your $10 million lawsuit? Wouldn't it? And that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as Mia's testimony. Okay. There's parts that just don't make any sense. But like I said, I'm not trying to victim blame, victim shame, or anything of that sort. I'm just asking questions that a lot of people have been asking. Okay. So, okay. So, with that being said, some interesting things have happened today, and it's only going to get more and more entertaining. I have a feeling. And it's interesting that so far we've only had one person lose their mind inside that courtroom. In fact, I'm actually surprised that there's been only one real YouTuber, okay, that has come forward or that came out and exposed certain things that they shouldn't have exposed. In fact, I'm actually happy about that it's only been one. Because you know how it is. You know how it is. We live in a world where mainstream media, I understand, is worried about the internet. And the internet is reigning supreme right now. So, of course, if a YouTuber was to fall on their face by exposing all kinds of stuff after being in that room, in that federal courtroom, that could be very bad, right? And that's a perfect opportunity for mainstream media to be like, see what the internet is doing? They keep on mucking it up, right? So I'm glad so far there's only been one moment where things have fumbled, right? Where one thing so far. And hopefully it just stays that way. So we'll see what happens. But what's really interesting is what the prosecution brought in today. Now, I just told you guys again, or I just told you guys before, and I'm going to say it again. Eddy Garcia. He is a former security supervisor of that LA hotel in which he was there, and he witnessed everything in the aftermath after Cassie was attacked in that very smoking gun video. What now we're understanding is that Eddy Garcia is claiming that he was actually, not only he, but some other people in his security staff were actually bribed, not just $10,000, not $20,000, but $50,000 for Diddy to retrieve the only copy, the hard copy of this very incriminating video of him attacking Cassie in the LA Continental Hotel. Okay? Now, what's interesting about this, Intercontinental Hotel, I'm sorry. But what's very interesting about this is that he worked a deal out. Diddy worked a deal out with Eddy Garcia and the head of the security company, that was running the whole hotel, to actually retrieve this money. When this guy shows up, he actually ends up Diddy ends up doubling the amount. He says, hey, are you sure? Are you absolutely 110% sure that this is the only footage out there? And according to Eddy Garcia, who actually is the one who made the deal, who did the exchange of money and the hard drive, he said, yes, that's the only hard drive. That's the only piece of information, the only piece of evidence that's out here existing, which clearly was a bold-faced lie. Diddy was so pleased, and he wanted to make sure that, this thing was solidified. He gave them a whole $100,000, double the amount that the security staff asked for. And of course, they divvied the money out. Don't worry. We're going to get into the information here in just a second. But they divvied the money out. Some people got 50, some people got 20, some people got 30. And they used the money for whatever they needed to use the money for, right? But nonetheless, this transaction, according to Eddy Garcia, actually happened. But instead of it being 50, it was $100,000. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, though. I'm going to be real. They should have asked for more. I said it. They should have asked for more. Now, I know it's still illegal. What they did, that transaction, All that stuff is illegal. The fact that they saw what happened should have been reported to police. That stuff should have been reported to police. But it was not. It was not. So it's on them as well. And what's even more insane about this is that these guys lied to Diddy. Do you realize that? They straight up lied to Diddy. And then, lo and behold, let's just flash forward to 8 years later? CNN exposes this video. This unbelievable, scathing, disgusting, heartbreaking video that should have been exposed the moment it happened. But it got thrown under, it got dug 6 feet under for a small amount of time. All for $100,000 that Diddy paid this particular former securities supervisor at the LA Intercontinental Hotel. He paid them to make sure that this was never to be seen ever again. Right now, this is not good for Diddy. This definitely shows, for sure, exactly at least some of the things that prosecution is trying to bury him with, those charges. He's looking at something very bad right here, and he should be very scared. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this, okay? Because we got to get into the updates, and obviously they're going to be getting out of, I'm sure they're about to get out of lunch, okay, here in just a second. But yeah, I mean, the RICOs, etc., it's all bad. But let me get some of these super chats. Thank you so much for the super chat. For the super stickers, I'm sorry, Pinar. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Of course, next week I'll try to be in the South District and hope getting a seat by their trial. Shoot, holla at us. Let us know. I'd love to get some more, some inside scoop on what's going on. Free speech, speak it out loud. Yeah. I mean, listen, I of course, my job is to think outside the box, jump on both sides of the fence, and ask the questions that need to be asked. And that's what I do, right? That is my job. My job is to ask the doggone questions so that they can get out there for you to think about while you're at dinner with your family or while you're just by yourself playing with your rubber ducky, okay, in your little bubble bath. Whatever it may be, all right? I'm here to ask those questions so you can challenge yourself as well. Even so, I'm asking the questions to challenge myself, right? The more we talk, the more we discuss things, the more brilliant and more genius we become, right? Ellery, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Good evening to you too. 6 p.m. in the UK, almost bedtime. Well, hopefully I'm your nightcap. That sounded weird, but we're going to go with it. Okay? So thank you so much for the support. All right. Yeah, that was weird too with the rubber ducky. Just forgive me. I'm a creative. Okay. My brain just goes, just goes off. It just goes crazy. But my brain is insane. All right. Just roll with it. Okay. But yes, Debbie, I appreciate it. Real quick. Hit the like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it. Do me that favor. Hit that like button down below. All right. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. All right. Real quick, let's just see where we're at. Really quick so we can just get a quick goal in mind. Let's just get to 1K. Okay. If we can get to 1K, that'd be greatly appreciated. And hold on. I just saw adorable gender reveals. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate your support. Thank you so much for being so excited to be back on and watching the show with everybody else. Okay. Yes, insane in the membrane. And indeed. All right. So from the mind of Pascal, you know what I mean? As the gavel strikes. So let's get into this, shall we? All right. Please and thank you. There was something else I was going to say before I forget. Oh, here's the other thing. By the way, One more thing. Okay, shout out to S Dubs. Thank you so much for making these. I just put up some new emojis, members emojis in the members emojis chat thing. So members, all y'all who have become members, and please, again, consider becoming a member. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. You have access to 3 new emojis. Okay, I finally figured it out. I had finally some free time to do some research and get this thing moving. So go check it out. We got Famburger, we got black pleather straps, and we also have hibbity dibbity. Yeah, hibbity dibbity. Okay, so go and check them out. If you are a member, you will get those. You'll have access to them if you are a member. Okay, so let's continue. Donna, thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay, let us get into this, because this is, in my personal opinion, very bad for Diddy. And what's interesting about this too is how the defense reacts to all of this being said. After they do the direct, how does the defense react to Eddy Garcia? Wait for it. It's very interesting. Let's get into this. So, former hotel security supervisor to testify on $100K, okay, in Diddy's payoff. So Eddy Garcia, the former security supervisor at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA, will testify under an immunity order. Remember, they brought him in yesterday, very end of the trial of the day. And he said, I plead the fifth, because he was worried about incriminating himself. So the judge had to sign an immunity order so that he can speak freely on what's going on without getting himself thrown in the slammer for doing illegal things like bribery. Yeah, like accepting a mother-loving bribe. Yeah. So his deal with the government provides him with immunity as long as he tells the truth on the witness stand. He's expected to speak on the $100,000 payoff Diddy made in a brown paper bag, baby. Yeah, we going straight mafia style with this, right? So a brown paper bag. I have never, like, of all things, why would somebody say, you know what? This doesn't look totally strange. It's totally not inconspicuous. Let's put it in a brown paper bag. Let's just take a bunch of stacks of money and put it in a brown paper bag. You don't think anybody gonna look at that and go, that's a big brown paper bag. What's in it? A gallon of milk? No. It's a little weird to me. But anyway, he gave them $100,000 in a brown paper bag. Little paper bag, boy. Okay? To purchase the incriminating video of his attack on Cassie. While Diddy doesn't deny the payoff, he doesn't deny the payoff. His attorneys say the payment was to avoid any negative press. Stop it. Stop it. That's messy as hell. He doesn't deny the payoff, but he paid them off so that he wanted to avoid any negative press. He was actually forced to pay the $100,000 because he was scared that was going to go out on the TMZ. Baby oil and everything. And Men of the Night. Very interesting. He doesn't deny it, though. Others expected to testify, which is good. Okay. So Frank Piazza will testify today, which of course, and then of course they have followed by either Derek Ferguson, former CFO of Combs Enterprise, and Banna. Let's not forget Brianna Bangolin. Okay. It's also known as AKA Banna, who alleges that she was dangled. He dangled Banna over a balcony. Yeah. So let's look at this too. A spectator was actually removed. Let's take a look. This is interesting. Okay. A person was screaming in the gallery. Okay. And she was removed from the courtroom shortly after prosecutors complained about the real identity of witness Mia being broadcast. Yeah, the real identity being broadcast by somebody, YouTuber who was in the room, saw her, said, "Oh, this is most definitely her. Therefore, I'm referring to her as such and such rather than referring to her as her pseudonym." That's a bad move, right? The woman who appears to be a supporter of the defendant was cursing as she was taken away by law enforcement. She said, everyone is laughing at Diddy. She said, a regular courtroom spectator who claims to be a transport employee. It's not right what they're doing to him. Actually, she threw in an F-bomb in here too. I mean, she had a dirty mouth. Dirty, dirty, dirty mouth. But she said, everyone is effing laughing at Diddy. It's not right what they're doing to him. Then the judge says, escort her out right now. This is what he bellowed. Man, they pulling out the SAT words. Look at that mother lover. Bellowed. Not that he just shouted it. It has to be bellowed. Okay? But anyway, we reading Harry Potter? Damn. So this is the first major outburst in trial so far. And I think it's going to be the only one. But there may be more crazies. Like I said, somebody might stand up and say, raspberries! Just out of nowhere. You never know. There have been disturbances in overflow viewing spaces in the courtroom during this trial, but this is the first such situation in the courtroom itself. So there's been stuff going on in the overflow space, but there ain't been any crazies inside that courtroom until today. And he said, they're all going to laugh at you, Diddy. They're all going to laugh at you. Interesting, right? So he takes the stand. All right. Eddy Garcia, former security supervisor from the Intercontinental Hotel. All right. When Diddy attacked Cassie, he takes the stand. He took the stand briefly yesterday, which we already know he invoked the Fifth Amendment. Then the judge signed an immunity. So we already know about that. Garcia says he didn't initially recognize Diddy in the hotel attack video. Yeah, I mean, sure. So he says he didn't recognize Diddy or Cassie when watching the video of this attack that happened in March 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel. He told the court that he was later notified of their identities. Remember, I'm forgetting his name. The other guy, the other security guard that came in. He was the one who dealt with Cassie and Diddy firsthand. Remember, he went back to his I guess he went back to the office where the security cameras were and everything. He recorded the mother-loving video so that he could share it with his wife and talk about it with his wife. Remember that? Just remember that. Now, remember this too. That particular security guard did not mention anything about getting paid. He never said he got paid. All he said is he was like, what can I do to get rid of that video? And that particular security guard was like, my name's Bennett. I ain't in it. I don't know what I can do for you. Because he was disgusted by what he saw Diddy do to Cassie, right? But he still went into that room, filed out paperwork, and recorded the video on his phone so he could share it with his wife. So there's still a question of, was it fully 110% deleted? Was the video that CNN put out for everyone to see, was that from that particular security guard's phone? Or was it from somebody else who obtained the video and held onto it? Yes, thank you. Israel Flores, right? Or something like that. Israel Flores, right? Flores said, oh, I didn't do nothing. My name's Bennett. I ain't in it. I'm over here. Say nothing. I'm gone. I'm over here. But he's like, but in the meantime, hold up. Let me just film it real quick. Let me film this real quick, right? But I ain't got nothing to do with it. Nope, never got paid nothing. I'm over here. My name's Bennett. I ain't in it. But what Diddy did was deplorable. So I'm going to hold on to this so I can show it to my wife. Did he leak the video? Or did somebody else who actually got paid was part of the payment of the $100,000? Did they release the video to CNN and also get paid. Because you know for a fact, CNN paid for that. CNN paid for that. Come on, guys. You really think that somebody's just going to leak that to the CNN on the free 9s and 9s? Hell no. But moving on, though. Flores, of course, recorded on his phone. Okay? But moving on. So he told the court that he later was later notified of their identities. Okay? So he also testified that law enforcement was not contacted and was told that Cassie did not request medical attention or police. Yeah, she hopped into a car and drove off because she was like, I'm not missing this red carpet event. I don't care by any means necessary. Even if I have to show up black and blue, I'm still going to show up to this thing because this was very important to her and she did not want to miss that red carpet event. She even said that in her testimony as well, right? And remember, no one, security did not once file not one police report of this interaction, which is really sad. Even Israel Flores didn't file. He wrote paperwork. He wrote a report. He didn't put all the information in there. But he still, even the guy who was there at the scene of the crime, at ground zero, for lack of a better term, he didn't even go and call police and report this at all either, which is crazy. Combs' team realized the damage of his taped attack on Cassie. This is what Garcia says. So, according to Garcia, Combs' former chief of staff, KK, quickly understood the potential career-ending problems that this surveillance video of her boss attacking Cassie could cause. When KK asked Garcia for the tape, the witness told her he didn't have the authority to produce the footage. He then told her to go get a subpoena. Yes. Christina Courtroom is in the house, y'all. Okay, I'm wondering if they're going to be bringing her in. Okay? I'm wondering if they're going to be bringing her in. Because this is bad. Okay? Combs said video of Cassie being attacked would ruin his career, Garcia said. So Garcia testified that a call from Diddy's team to his personal cell phone had him nervous, and that Diddy repeatedly told him he could help regarding the footage of him attacking Cassie. Garcia said Diddy's employee, KK, Christina Courtroom, first made the call. She's the one who made a call first. But then Diddy eventually got on the phone himself. She's making the bribery call. Uh-oh. Like I said, this is not a good one for Diddy. This testimony is not good. He told the court that Diddy said the video would ruin his career. Garcia explained on the call that he did not have access to the server room where the original video was, and he could not help. Combs offered to take care of him for the video, which Garcia said he believed to mean financially. I mean, duh! If you're going to literally go, hey, this could ruin my career, bruh. Hey, he was also apparently calling him Angel. He was calling Garcia his angel, right? So he's like, oh, come on, man. Just be an angel for me, man. Be my savior. Help me out, man. Okay? Like, hey, this could ruin my career, man. This could ruin my career. This could ruin everything I've been working for, bruh. Come on, man. Man, I promise you. I'm going to take care of you. You really think he's going to, what he going to do? Make him a sandwich? No, I know you love you some hoagies. Look at you. You know you don't miss a meal. You know you love you know you love you some hoagies. I'll make you a nice big old hoagie for you. Just give me that. Just give me that footage. Come on, man. You know for a fact he going, oh, okay, so how much you going to give me for that if I'm going to help you out? When you say you're going to take care of me, I got you. But what you gonna do for me? A sandwich slathered in applesauce? Real talk. Nothing but roast beef and applesauce. Come on now. You know for a fact that means I'm gonna hook you up with the monies. You dumb if you think, oh, okay. Well, you gonna bake a cake for me? Make me some brownies? Are you gonna hold my hand and look both ways before we cross the road? It's money, guys. Come on. It's money. Garcia said his boss wanted $50K. His own boss said, you know what? No, man. No. 50. Tell him $50,000 and I'll give him all the footage he needs. And it will never be seen again. That's what he said. So, Garcia testifies Diddy was desperate. He desperately wanted the copy of the surveillance footage of him attacking Cassie. And he also implied, because again, he said, I'll take care of you, bruh. Come on, man. This is my career. This is my brand. This is everything I work for, man. I will lose everything. My brand will be destroyed. I will take care of you, bro. So, of course, Garcia, understandably, shoot. Garcia says, hey, I'm not making enough money. So I'm just going to throw it out to supervise to my boss and see what the boss says. So apparently, boss said $50,000. Footage sold to Diddy had to be the only copy because he didn't want it getting out, Garcia said. So Garcia talked to his boss. He said, this crazy dude, Diddy, yeah, he's been talking to me, man. And he's saying, hey, he's willing to pay. And the boss said, say what? Okay, he will get all the footage. Just give me $50K. Just give me $50K. And we'll split it, boss. Okay? Garcia, cabron, we'll split it. Right? So, Diddy had Cassie on call to reassure hotel security for video sale. Interesting. Wow, that's something I didn't know. So Garcia testified that he expressed concerns about selling the only copy of the 2016 attack of Cassie, especially if Cassie had filed a police report in that matter. So he told the court that he ended up on a FaceTime call with Diddy and actually Cassie. Wow. Combs told Cassie to tell Garcia she also wanted the video to go away. That's new to me too. I didn't know she was part of the bribery. So according to Garcia, Cassie then said it wasn't a good time for the video to come out and wanted it gone because clearly, I guess in her mind, or he was probably still threatening her, like, you do anything, I'm going to take you out. Right? Maybe he threatened her to do it. But you also got to remember, Cassie was scared out of her mind. She also was like, yo, I'm trying to build a career. I don't need this to be out here. And my only claim to fame is being attacked by Diddy for 10 years of my life, 10, 11 years of my life. Maybe that's what it was. Or maybe Diddy threatened the hell out of her. Maybe. Garcia's NDA for Diddy's footage presented in court as part of the deal to get the footage. Okay. He signed a non-disclosure agreement that called for his silence and destruction of the evidence. According to the NDA presented in court, there were to be no duplicates of footage or stored communications about the incident. When asked if he read through everything before signing it, he says, no, I was nervous. Diddy presented hotel security with $100,000 in a brown paper bag, boy. So after the hotel security signed NDAs, Garcia told the court that Diddy left and returned to the room with a brown paper bag and a money counter. He put stacks of money on into the counter, $10,000 at a time, until it reached the total of $100,000, Garcia testified. According to Garcia, the original deal for the video with Garcia's boss was $50K. But Diddy said the excess of cash was for the other two security guards. Excuse me. Very interesting, right? He said, nah, this 50K is for to divvy out for the other guys that were here too. Make sure that they shut up, right? So he was making $10.50 an hour, $10.50 an hour as a security guard, which is trash in my personal opinion. Real talk, that's terrible. He signed the NDA with a $1 million penalty. So, of course, he was making $10.50 an hour as a security guard. He agreed to an NDA that included a $1 million penalty if he breached it. He reached $100,000 for himself, or he received $100,000 for himself and two other employees for helping Diddy keep this hotel attack of Cassie under wraps. Diddy warned the hotel guard not to make big purchases, Garcia said. So Garcia told the court, Diddy asked him if he wanted to count the money he was getting for the video sale, and he asked how he intended to spend it. Garcia opted to trust the money counter, he testified, and explained to Diddy that he didn't know what he used the $30,000 he was getting for the deal. He got paid $30,000 out of this $100,000 deal, just so you know. Diddy then warned him not to make any big purchases. Okay. So the hotel security guard said he assumed Diddy was advising against drawing attention to the money, which wouldn't make sense. Garcia added that he didn't deposit any of the cash into a bank and used the money to buy a used car. So, I mean, $30,000 on a used car. What kind of car did you get? And also, that's a huge purchase to just buy outright in cash. You understand that, right? Now I want to know, what kind of car did he buy? Did he get like a used Mercedes or something? Because $30,000 on it, you know what I'm saying? $30,000 to buy a used car. It better be a fantastic car. You see what I'm saying? Or at least a good, solid, big, hefty down payment on a decent ride. You see what I'm saying? But that's weird, right? That's a little weird. Hold on. That's very weird. Yeah, that's money for a brand new car, depending on what kind of car you get. I mean, if you're out here trying to buy an Audi with $30,000, yeah, it's a down payment on a really nice ride. You see what I'm saying? Even a really nice, it's a good hefty down payment on a really nice used Audi. But at the same time, I mean, my Lord, that's a lot of quiche. What did you get? A Toyota Corolla? What kind of used car did you get? You see what I'm saying? Did he go and get a used Maserati or something? But even that, it's like you're getting high mileage, right? And a really older, like a much older car, if you're going to go and get something really nice like that, right? But I digress. $30,000 on a new ride, on a used ride. It does make you wonder, what kind of ride did he buy? But let's move on. He said, make small purchases, and this mother lover goes out and buys up and drops 30 grand on a brand new, like on a new used car, if that makes sense. Okay. So Diddy celebrated Easter by making his video of Cassie, the attack on Cassie, go away. So he had kind words. Diddy had kind words for the security guard who was making sure the damaging video or footage was disposed of. On Easter, he said, "Happy Easter, my angel. God is good." And then proceeded to ask if anyone he'd asked about, he had asked about the incident or the video. So that's what he was doing on Easter. He goes, "Happy Easter, my angel. God is good. Did anybody ask anything about that video?" Isn't that weird? Garcia testified about the March 2016 attack. He says, quote unquote, I said I hadn't heard anything, and he said, okay. Garcia said he later asked Diddy about employment possibilities with the defendant's company. It was not immediately clear if Diddy answered. Again, I don't think Diddy would answer. Again, he got what he needed from that security guard, and he disposed of him. He doesn't need somebody like that. But what's interesting is that he said, hey, man, you got any job openings? Because I really use a new job. But you got to remember that NDA puts Garcia in a very sticky situation. Because again, if he was to speak out, that's $1 million punishment for him to speak out about this because of this NDA that he signed. Interesting, right? So for him to be like, hey, man, I am kind of looking for a job. Any possibilities of getting some employment under Bad Boy Entertainment? Nothing. And I'm telling you right now, maybe Diddy should have responded, being like, yeah, man, you know what? Actually, we do have a job for you. Get him on his payroll. Garcia says he wasn't initially truthful with police over the 2016 attack. So when police began asking about the 2016 attack at the hotel, Garcia said he wasn't initially honest with investigators. He testified that he was contacted by law enforcement and wasn't truthful about his involvement at first. He later got his own attorney and met with the government, where he said he was more forthcoming. Again, that doesn't mean he was lying. That just means he was like, yo, I know I'm part of something that is illegal and I don't want to incriminate myself. So therefore, I'm going to call and get a good lawyer, or at least a decent lawyer, so that they can make sure I'm not talking myself into a freaking hole. So I get that piece, right? Excuse me. Defense points out NDA didn't prevent Garcia from speaking with law enforcement. So defense attorney Brian Steele briefly cross-examined Garcia, pointing out a line in the NDA that said Garcia was not prevented from speaking about the attack in legal proceedings. This was presumably intended to undermine the government's potential obstruction of justice, one of the predicate crimes that falls under racketeering. Prosecutors quickly took up a redirect, however, showing that the NDA requires written notice to the company in those cases. It says this would allow the company to seek options to prevent disclosure. Garcia testified on redirect that he understood the company to be Diddy's company. Like I said, very quick cross-examination. Very quick cross-examination. Why? Because Diddy is in trouble with this ish. You got somebody, and you can't deny that Diddy is attacking Cassie in that video. You cannot deny that piece of information. You just can't, right? You can't deny that this stuff never was out here and exposed until the very last minute, until just recently, as far as the CNN footage that was exposed, right? All of this. Diddy had his hand in this situation. And what's interesting is that he's basically, as far as this one though, he's pleading basically no contest to this part right here. Because you can't sit there and go, well, he gave you a paper bag filled with what? Did you actually know was money in there? Like, you see what I'm saying? There's no way that the defense can maneuver and slither their way around this situation. Sorry, not sorry. Diddy's in serious trouble with this particular part right here. Okay? Hold on real quick. Julie and Nurse Jules, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for becoming members. And just like these two, please consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below, please and thank you. Okay, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's continue on though. We're going to go into the transcripts because I know they're going to be interesting. So, blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, he's competent to testify about this video, blah, blah, blah. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, bring the jury in, call your witness. Okay. Where do you work on where did you work on the day of question? The Intercontinental Hotel. I was told there was an incident involving Sean Combs, Diddy. Did you see him here, or do you see him here? And of course, they're saying, well, we stipulate, so Steele will be doing cross. Okay. Interesting. Let me show you your sign-in sheet for that day. Yep, I signed that. Week ending March 10th, 2016. Could you monitor all the cameras? Not all, but more than one at a time. Would you be required to check the monitors? Yes, I was. Did you initially recognize the individual involved in this incident? No, not at first, actually. But when I got a closer look, when I looked closer, yeah, I did. It was most definitely Diddy. And did you learn who the second individual was? Yes, I eventually found out and figured out that it was Cassie Ventura. Why was the law enforcement not called? Cassie did not request it. Did you review the incident report? Yes, I did. There was an attachment that I didn't open on the computer. It was a video file. Did you receive a call? Yes, I did. From whom did you receive a phone call? Christina Courtroom, with a New York area code. She asked if I had the video. What did she ask for? Well, she was asking for the video. She said Diddy had been intoxicated and didn't remember exactly. And then Brian Steele says, objection. Judge says sustained. Then prosecution says sidebar. So they go on. They come back after the sidebar. What did you tell Miss Courtroom? That she would have to talk to management, really? Did she reach out again? Yeah, she did. I got a call from the lobby that said she was looking for me. What did she ask for? Same thing. She asked for the video. How did you respond? That she had to talk to management or file a subpoena. Did you tell her what you saw on the video? Yeah, I told her. I told her off record, and I said it was really bad. Did you get another call? Yeah, and it was also from another New York area code. It was from Miss Courtroom again. But then she put someone else on the phone. And who was that? Well, it was Diddy. He asked, do you know who I am? And what did you say? I said, yeah. He asked for the video again. And he said he had been intoxicated. And I told him, I can't give you the video. How did he sound when he was asking for this video? He was talking really fast and he was stuttering. He sounded really nervous. Did you email management? Yeah, I did. Can you bring up exhibit GX7R149? What is this? This is the email I sent to management. Objection, overruled. Email is shown, and its email is shown has Courtroom's phone number on it, not redacted. That's not good. It says Diddy says he is a patron and wants to talk to you. Okay. So did you get more calls from Miss Courtroom? Yes. And this time she was calling me directly on my personal phone, on my personal number. So how did you react? I mean, I was nervous. Miss Courtroom passed the phone over to Diddy again. Okay, so Diddy's on the phone. So what did he say then? It sounded like I sounded like a good guy that he could help, that something like this could ruin him. He was desperate for the video, so he really wanted the video. He said if it got out, it could ruin his career. I said I didn't have access to the server. He told me he believed I could make it happen and that he would take care of me. What do you think that he meant when he said that? Shoot, he said he could pay me, give me money for the video. So what did you do? Well, I reached out to my supervisor about it. Who was your supervisor at the time? Bill Medrano. He told me he would actually do it for 50. What do you think he meant? What do you think that meant? He basically said he'd give Diddy the video for $50,000. And what did you do? Well, I called KK. I called Christina Courtroom, who put Diddy back on the phone. And then he called me Eddy, my angel. And this is what I hate so much. Because the threads looks like they're broken. Let's go back. Okay. Hold on. What? Okay. So that's weird. Eddy, my angel. Okay. So prosecution says, I'm going to enter a stipulation into evidence. During a search at the Miami airport, law enforcement seized 2 cell phones from Christina Courtroom's person. So they personally grabbed these cell phones from Christina Courtroom. So published that for the jury. It says 24 contacts, including in parentheses or in quotations, Eddy, my angel, and his phone number. So Eddy, my angel, friend, Intercontinental. There's also a photo of the IDs on the device. Interesting. So there's a photo of Eddy, if I'm gathering that correctly. There's an actual ID photo of Eddy on the device as well, if I'm getting that correct. All right. But it's so interesting. Anyway, moving on. We are also entering evidence records from Signature Bank. So judge says any objection, defense says no. With that, the government calls. Wait a second. What? That makes no sense. Hold on, guys. Say what? That's some bull snish. Hold on. That makes no sense. There's so much more to that. Why did he break that up like that? Okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure this out, guys. Hold on. Why would it stop right there like that? Yeah, this is not right. I mean, I'm glad we got a bunch. Yeah, this is all over the place. Okay. I think I have it now. I think. That's so weird. That was all over the place. All right. Okay. Ruin his career. Okay. He called me Eddy, my angel. Okay. So called Christina Coram, who put Mr. Combs on. He called me Eddy, my angel. Diddy told me he knew I could do it. He's like, I knew you could do it. Let's do it right away. Let's get this over with. So I told Bill Medrano. So what did he do? He went into the server room and then he handed me a black USB and said, done. The video was in the USB, or I guess the thumb drive. So what did you do? I told Mr. Combs. Where did Diddy want to meet with you? In West LA. He said, let's get it done. He wanted the video as soon as possible. So I told Bill Medrano. He told me to tell the others I was on an errand for him. Okay, let's pull up GX8A104. What hours did you list? 10 to 1800. So where was the meeting point? A big high-rise building. I called the number and someone came. He said he was Diddy's bodyguard. How did he look? He was an older African-American male, heavyset, 6'3" to 6'5", big guy. What did he say? That he kind of came up with Diddy, that he was a good guy, and I was actually doing a good thing. So when you went upstairs, what actually happened? Well, Diddy was smiling. He called me Eddy, my angel. My voice was cracking, so I said I was coming down with something because I was just so nervous. So Mr. Combs told Christina, who was there, to go get me some tea that he actually drinks a lot and he likes. Then he asked, "Do you have it?" And I said yes. And he then asked, then he asked, "Do you have it?" I said yes, and I handed the actual thumb drive to him. So okay, so when he got the thumb drive, what did he do? He left, and then he came back, and he asked if this was the only copy. And what did you say? I said, I believe so. I believe it's the only copy. So Diddy said it had to be the only copy and nothing in the cloud. I called Mr. Medrano, and he said it was the only copy. He took it off the server. What else did you say? That if Cassie filed a complaint, it could be some serious trouble, and I could be in some serious trouble. Diddy said, man, don't worry, bro. Cassie wanted it gone too. He called her on FaceTime and then showed me her on FaceTime. She was in a hoodie, but I still could recognize her. So what did Cassie say to you? That she had a movie coming out and she wanted this and she did not want this to come out. He wanted my ID and that of Mr. Medrano's and the responding officer, Mr. Flores. But he was a very straight guy and probably wouldn't do it. So I told Bill Medrano. What did Medrano say? We'd get Harry Elias. We'd get Henry Elias, the other responding officer. When Diddy saw the IDs, he looked at Henry's and said, "Yeah, that's him." Then he brought out the NDAs that I wouldn't speak about. That's the stuff I can't talk about. So, okay, pull up this other exhibit. So, do you recognize this? Yeah, it states I have provided the only copy of the video. Did you read that contract? No. I was too nervous. Were you even given a copy? No, I wasn't. And the NDA, what were the liquidated damages if you were to ever say anything or speak out? $1 million if I spoke out. How much were you making at that time? $10.50 an hour? Then what? What happened after that? Did he put the cash through an actual money counter? There were stacks of 10,000s at the time. Obviously, the machine displayed at the end $100,000. So wait a second, it was $50,000, and then now there is another 50,000. So why the additional $50,000? For me, it was for me, and what I thought was for Israel Flores. How did Diddy give you the $100,000? He put it in a brown paper bag. Was the bodyguard still there? Yeah, he was. And Miss Coram, was she still present? I would say at some point, yeah. But I stood up. Signifying what? That I'd be leaving. It was time for me to go. The deal was done, right? Diddy escorted me to my car. He asked me how I'd be spending it. He said not to make big purchases because of this, large sums of money, and to look very suspicious, right? So then the judge turns to Mr. Steele, and I guess he was objecting, all right? If you are objecting, speak into the microphone that's sustained. Disregard the last part of it. Moving on. So then what did you do? I called Bill Medrano. I gave him his $50,000. How much to Mr. Elias? About $20,000. What did you do with your $30,000? I bought a used car with cash. Yeah, small purchases. Did you hear from Diddy ever again? Yeah, he called and told me Happy Easter if I ever needed anything. And did you reach out to him later? A few years later via Instagram, asking if there was work in LA. And I actually never heard anything back from him. So they have another sidebar. They come back. Anything further? Prosecution? Prosecution says, yes. Mr. Flores, did you see this video ever again? Yeah, on a news outlet, CNN. Also, Mr. Flores messaged me with a screenshot. Oh, so again, remember, Mr. Flores was not the one who reported anything, but he was the one who actually was sent to answered the distress call from Cassie, remember? And remember, he also took a video of the attack so that he can share it with his wife, right? So apparently Flores was sharing that footage with other security guards at the joint, okay, at the hotel. That's very interesting though, okay? Did you keep these messages? No, I wanted nothing to do with this stuff. Were you ever contacted by law enforcement? Eventually I was, yeah. Did you tell the truth? No, I didn't. I wanted nothing to do with it. Did you get your own lawyer and then told the truth? Is that how it goes down? Yeah, I did. No further questions. Mr. Steele comes up to the plate. So, prosecution. Sir, you were in the condominium unit with Diddy and others and received double what your boss was requesting. Is that a fair assessment? Yes, that's a fair assessment. You told your boss because you were honest, right? Yeah, I believe to be, as best as I can. You asked Diddy for work after all this stuff? Yeah, I did. Let me show the NDA. This part says exclusions, right? Well, under the NDA, I can't speak, is my understanding. It says nothing prohibits truthful statement in a legal proceeding. So yeah, I can see that. You weren't law enforcement? No, it's not. I have nothing further. Redirect. Okay, they hop back up. NDA, paragraph 4. Can you read that? After, however, notify company to allow company to prevent disclosure. So you'd have to notify them first before you did any type of talking that would go against your NDA, right? Yes. Steele says, objection. Judge says, overruled. She says, nothing further. And she sits down. She had a little bit of her Perry Mason moment right there. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this here. Tiffany, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Getting hotter than fish grease in here. Yes, it is. You know what I mean? It's getting crazy. And Sabrina, thank you so much for gifting one member. Welcome to the family, you new member, whoever just got gifted that. All I ask for you guys to do is to pay it forward, show some love, do what it do, and all of that good stuff. That would be greatly appreciated. All right. But let's continue on now. Okay. But that's very interesting. Does it continue or does it not? Okay, good. Wait, what? This thing is on crack. It's on crack rock, y'all. Yeah, it's on crack rock. Okay, we're going back. Where's part 2? Where is part 2? Where is part 2? Hold on. Dear Lord. Part 2. We should check this out too. I'm actually curious about this. Talking about the paper bag and everything. Okay. Let's take a look at this real quick.
Matthew Russell Lee at the Southern District of New York Courthouse, halfway through day 15 of the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial. Today we had Eddy Garcia. He was the security guard in the Intercontinental Hotel. He demanded an immunity agreement, and the reason became quite clear because whereas Mr. Flores, who testified earlier, is the one who filmed the video of the hotel elevator lobby assault on his own phone, Mr. Garcia sold the video, thinking it was the only copy for, he thought $50,000, but it ended up being paid $100,000, which he split with his boss, Bill Medrano, and another guy who had been on duty with Flores, who actually wasn't involved, but they just cut him in for $20,000. What did Garcia do with his $30,000? He bought a used car with cash. Now, this is pretty damning testimony because according to Garcia, and it wasn't really contradicted on the cross-examination by Brian Steele, which was very short. According to Mr. Garcia, he was summoned up to a condominium unit, and Combs ran the money through a cash counter and gave it to him in a brown paper bag. Well, so I guess what the defense is going to say in summation, or if not before, is that this was just a conventional payment by a celebrity to make a embarrassing video go away. Combs did get Cassie apparently on FaceTime to say that she also wanted it to go away. We'll just have to see. The decision not to cross-examine him more, I guess there was just nothing they could do, except to try to point out that the non-disclosure agreement had an exemption for testifying in a court proceeding. Now, after that, and still on the stand now, is a guy called Derek Ferguson. He was the CFO of Bad Boy Records. Supposedly, there's only 20 minutes left, so I don't really know what he's going to say. Maybe it's to introduce records of intermingling of personal and business funds. That seems to be the goal. Now, Jane, a major witness, is going to be testifying beginning late tomorrow, according to the prosecutors, and we'll be all over it. There's been some issues. I'm out here because not only is it loud in the street, but there's been some issues with the thread. So I'm doing my best. I restarted one and should be working better. Doing the best here, and we'll be back in just a few short moments with continued reporting from U.S. versus Sean Combs.
Again, shout out to Inner City Press for their amazing in-court reporting. In the courtroom reporting, it's been pretty damn good. But okay, so like I said, this is a very interesting. What Eddy Garcia said in his testimony has been very, very interesting. Obviously, it's very damning, and also the fact that defense did not really come up and be like, all right, and try to find everything and anything they could to try to bury the situation, right? Bury Eddy Garcia. They didn't even do that. They just basically said, okay, Well, in the NDA, you could have spoken out. You could have said all kinds of things a long time ago. Why didn't you say anything then? Other than that, they were like, okay. And they sat back down. That's it. Right? So again, in my personal opinion, for the bribery, Diddy's in trouble for that. Diddy's guilty on that. I'm sorry, guys. He's Diddy for that. He's Diddy for that. He's guilty for that. Okay? He is definitely guilty for that. There is no question about that now. He is guilty of that. He's not denying it. He didn't even try to move the goalpost really that much. But that Eddy Garcia testimony was scathing. Also, let's not forget Israel Flores. Israel Flores did not even take any bribery money. There was talks of trying to give him some money, but he never took it because he's a Boy Scout, because he's a good old boy. Let's not forget that too. But nonetheless, Diddy did this. And Groovy Nikki, I'm going to tell you, I might be doing a video on that. I might just do a video, independent video on that. But I'm going to tell you right here. No. Hell to the no. Hell no. He ain't getting no pardon. There's no way. If he's found guilty in all these things, no. Nope. Doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter how badly Trump wants to get on the good side of the black vote. Okay? It does not matter. What he is alleged of doing, very bad, guys. Very bad. There's no coming back from this for Diddy. There's none. He going to prison. If found guilty, he going to prison. Okay? But let's move on. Let's move on. And again, he is like this. He is guilty of this. He is definitely guilty of this. So they go on to their lunch break. Okay, from my understanding, hopefully this thread is correct. They go on their lunch break and they get back to moving and shaking. So, like I said before, I'm going to repeat it again. Prosecution says, I'm going to enter a stipulation into evidence. During a search at the Miami airport, law enforcement seized 2 cell phones from KK, from her. Okay, so they said publish that for the jury. It says 24 contacts, including Eddy My Angel, his phone number, and Eddy My Angel friend Intercontinental, and then this photo of IDs on the service or on the device. So again, he took photos of his ID and logged it into his phone. Okay, so this is the things that were found. Okay, we're also entering evidence records from Signature Bank, and the objection, defense says no. With that, the government calls Derek Ferguson, and we go into Ferguson stuff. So we go to Fergie. Let's go into this. He takes the stand. He is a former CFO of Combs Enterprise. He is now speaking out against Diddy. Diddy. Do you realize how bad that is? Yep. He said, my angel. He said, my angel. Yeah. It's kind of zesty. It's a little zesty. It can be, it's weird calling another guy an angel. You know what I'm saying? You could basically say like my savior, my hero, but my angel. I'm just saying, okay, I'm sorry. I mean, unless that's your boy, like it's your boy and you grew up with him. That's like your boy. Like he's almost like your brother. You know what I mean? He's like blood, right? I could see something like that. I could see you saying something like that about your boy that you love like a brother. You know what I mean? Like a sibling, but like a grown ass dude calling another dude that he just met 5 minutes ago his angel. Kind of weird. It's a little weird. Don't you think? You know what I'm saying? Eddy, my angel, love you. This is a little weird. It's weird. I can see savior. I can see like this is my hero. Okay? There goes my hero. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's my boy. But angel? Don't like you say that to women or to your baby girl. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong with that? Is it a little film? I mean, like I said, hey, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like, the red pill. Okay? Not trying to be like that, but I'm just saying that seems a little, you know what I mean? Zestfully clean. You know what I mean? Just a little bit? Nobody? Okay. Fine. Don't be mad at me. I'm just saying, outside of that, you also got to remember, let me just say this one more time, or let me just say this really quick. He also is the head of Bad Boy Records. Isn't it all about masculinity and like that overzealous pumping that type of masculinity and the manosphere vibes, right? On camera, in brands and all that stuff, hip hop videos and everything, booty shaking and everything. I make money. My girl is in the kitchen making food. You know what I'm saying? No. Isn't that a little weird? It's like Suge Knight being like, my angel. That'd be weird. Death Row Records. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be seen with a dude all up in the videos, come to Death Row, right? Wouldn't it be weird if he's saying, Eddy, my angel? That's weird, right? No one? Okay. I'm just asking the questions. We're going to continue, though. All right. Because you know what I mean? Suge Knight going, oh, what a beautiful morning. Like, that would be weird, right? You'd be like, Suge, no. Also, the T is weird, too. It's a little weird. I'm going to say it because you don't expect Diddy to be like, hey, Eddy, my angel, what's up, man? Hey, you ever tried this tea? This tea is phenomenal, bro. You want to try some tea? Yeah, let's drink some tea. And he's just drinking with his pinky out. That ain't gangsta. That ain't gangsta. Okay. Isn't that weird? Okay, I'm done. Let's go. So, it is a little weird. Pinky's out. Just drinking his. Love this tea. This tea. It's weird. Sorry. It's a little weird. He's the head of Bad Boy Records. And in his videos, he's out here. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful women or women around him, always putting on this front like, the epitome of masculinity. But then 2 seconds later, you turn around, see him in real life. Eddy, my angel. That's weird. You want some tea? This tea. It's so weird. Okay, let's go. Derek Ferguson, CFO of Combs Enterprise. All right. He is at the witness in the witness chair right now as we speak. And of course, he's wearing a suit and a tie. I'll be on my suit and tie. Okay. So former Bad Boy CFO, sometimes reported directly to Diddy, he says. Derek Ferguson, he used to be the chief financial officer for Bad Boy Entertainment, said he sometimes reported to Diddy. Ferguson told the court he held many roles working for Diddy between 1998 to 2017. That's a long time. By the way, that's almost 20 years. But went into detail on his role as CFO of Bad Boy Entertainment. Mind you, he is testifying against Diddy. Remember that. By the way, I'm sorry, I have to say this, okay? Diddy is the most bougetto mother lover on this planet. Like, he's like bougie, but like he's real bougie, but ghetto at the same time. Because let's be real, we already talked about the Molotov cocktail that was a bottle of OE. Okay, but it had a designer scarf. I'm sorry. Hold on. He had a designer scarf in a 40 of OE. Okay, the designer scarf. Okay, Molotov cocktail. That's how Someone made it. Okay. Kid Cudi's car goes up and boom, boom, right? Now we're looking at another thing. He's like, yo, man, I need that video. I'll pay whatever, right? He's super gangster, right? Then the guy shows up and he's like, Eddy, my angel, you sit down, have some tea. This tea is to die for. You see what I'm saying? But then at the same time, whilst the guy is nervously sipping the tea, right? He's in there, comes out with stacks of money with a money counter. And he's like, yeah, let's count this money, bruh. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Is it not? It's bougetto. It's super bougie, but ghetto at the same time. He's like, I got this tea from India. You got to try it. It's amazing. And then he puts all the money, exactly just me. He puts all the money into a brown paper mother-loving bag. It's bougetto. It's giving bougetto. Okay? He's on and off. He has in his phone, locked into his phone, Eddy, my angel. Bougetto. Okay, I'm done. We're going back to this testimony. But I'm just saying, isn't that weird? Okay? That's weird. Because he's so rich, but he still wants to hold on to the hood. Like he's still holding on with the reins of the hood because he doesn't want to let that go, right? But he rich. And I wonder what kind of brown paper bag that was. Was it a Louis Vuitton, like a shopping bag from Louis Vuitton? You know what I mean? Like a paper bag from Zales? Like where did he get the brown paper bag to put $100,000 in it? You see what I'm saying? It's just weird. Again, bougetto. So that's why I look at the Molotov cocktail made with the OE40 with the design. I can't say it with a straight face. But with the designer scarf stuffed in it, and then the thing went boom, boom. Like it screams Diddy. Allegedly. Okay? Allegedly. But this is screaming bougetto. Okay, let's move on. All right. I said my piece. I'm sorry. Hit that like button down below, guys. Don't forget to do that. Okay? Hit the like button down below, please, and thank you. Okay, let's get to 1K. Can we get to 1K? Dagnabbit. We here. Hit that like button down below. Let's get it to 1K. 1K. Come on. 1K. Uno. K. 1K. I don't Spanish much. Okay? And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, please, and thank you. Let's go. Let's continue. Like I said, drinking tea, making deals. Okay. But this CFO, I'm telling you right now, this CFO, I bet you saw some things, got very mad, and now he's out here for revenge. Let's continue. So he had to directly report to Diddy sometimes. All right. So he was there for almost 20 years. Let's not forget that. He went into detail on his role as CFO of Bad Boy Entertainment. He handled budgets and salaries, was involved in deal making, and at times was responsible for Diddy's personal finances. Ferguson told the court that he mainly reported to whoever served as president of Bad Boy E or Bad Boy Entertainment. At times, there were no president. So he reported directly to Diddy, charting out the trail of money. Although most of Ferguson's early testimony has been procedural, it's potentially crucial to the government's case. He's been asked to verify a laundry list of bank accounts, real estate holdings, credit cards, and other financial records connected to Combs' enterprise to confirm that the defendant had signatory power over these funds. Though most of the headline-grabbing testimony so far, this trial has dealt with SA and other incidents of alleged acts of violence. Diddy's real problems would be any evidence that might have a criminal enterprise to pull off these suspected crimes. So they go on to a lunch break. Hold on. And go ahead a little bit further. Government seeks action against outlet reporting the ID of Mia. So the true name and identity of key prosecution witness, Mia, are being reported, according to prosecutors who want to ban the outlet that made the information public from court. Ooh, that's not good. So now they want to ban that particular outlet from actually being inside the courtroom for good. I don't blame them. Okay? I do not blame them. Judge asked the prosecution to draft a possible court order, and he'd consider it. Okay. And of course, that's, I'm sure, happening during the time of that lunch break. Because let's not forget, somebody saw her face in the courtroom, went outside after they adjourned for the day, and then started to spill all the damn tea. Put it all out there, saying this is her face, this is her name. I'm not referring to her. I'm not referring to her by her pseudonym. I'm going to be calling her by her government name. I don't care. And started to expose her. So, of course, understandably, that particular person is in some serious doo-doo, okay? Because they were in the courtroom, and then they went out and they said, this is for sure her. This is for sure this particular person. I now have put the face and the name together, and I'm going to expose her name right here on the show type thing. See what I'm saying? And so, of course, that particular person is in trouble for doing that. Okay? That's not good. So, financial records show $20,000 wire from Cassie's father. Uh-oh! Like I said, this is not good. That's proof. Remember, he tried to blackmail Cassie's mama and daddy. Let's not forget that, guys. Prosecution showed financial records from Diddy's bank account, including a $20,000 wire transfer from Cassie's father back in December 23rd, 2011. You know how messed up that is, that this happened 2 days before Christmas? You don't think that they wanted to buy some things for themselves, for each other, give each other some gifts from their Christmas gift list? And what happened? They had to go and get out a loan just so they can pay Diddy $20,000, which, of course, they say that Diddy paid the parents back with that money. But that's so stupid. Okay? That's stupid. Anyway, her mother, Regina Ventura, previously testified that Diddy demanded the family pay $20,000 to keep from releasing these S tapes or these freak-offs, okay, after he learned that she was sleeping with Kid Cudi. She also told the court that she received the money back days later. So they went out of their way, sweating bullets, begging for a miracle, putting a whole loan out, from their home, just so they can pay this monster who has enough money, okay, more money than he can actually count, okay? Bad boy makes more money than they can count, right? That's a deep cut, all right? They pay him the $20,000, and then days later, he returns the money. Now, I'm sure he had a second change of heart and all that, but that still does not mean that the blackmail did not happen. And now they're showing proof positive of this. And thank God the Venturas wired this, because now there's a paper trail. And it shows, boom, his account was received $20,000 more from this particular account that's under the Ventura family's name, or from Ventura, the father, right? So they pointed out two other $20,000 transfers that same month while questioning the CFO, his former CFO. The first was an outgoing transfer to Ventura, okay? And then another one was to an unspecified entity in December 27th, 2011. So transfer, hold on. First outgoing transfer to Ventura on December 14th, 2011. So I'm assuming when they say to Ventura, to Cassie Ventura, I guess. And then another transfer made in on the 27th of November. So I'm assuming they paid back the father. He paid back the father 4 days after he made his wire transfer. But then at this ongoing transfer, I don't know. To Ventura, I'm assuming to Cassie. For what reason, I don't know. Could be a multitude of different reasons, but that's weird, right? Nonetheless, transaction did actually happen. Okay. So former Bad Boy CFO said he wanted to work for Diddy as a Bronx native. So let's see. In the cross, okay. Of course, we already know he worked in the late, in the late 90s to like mid, obviously 2017. So he was there for almost 20 years. So Ferguson was asked why he was interested in working with Diddy and his Bad Boy companies, which included the production company and the record label. The former CFO told the court that he felt interested in Diddy's companies because he felt it hired from communities where he was from. So a Bronx native, Ferguson testified that he felt that Diddy and his brands gave young executives from those types of communities opportunities. Now, again, sure, on the surface, makes Diddy look like an amazing guy, right? He dope for what he does for the community on the surface, but in actuality, he a butthole. So let's get into this testimony here, okay? How do you know Mr. Combs? This is from prosecution. I worked for him from 1998 to 2017. What was your role? I was CFO. How were your bonuses determined? Company results and how I did my performance for the company. Were you responsible for managing Diddy's personal finances? He says, yes. At times during my tenure. Who was your supervisor? Sometimes I had to report to Diddy himself. How often did you interact with Diddy? A couple times a week. Later, he became more of a chairman. How did you communicate with him? Back then, we used pagers. So who is this? The show photo. It's Uncle Paulie. So that's Paul. And these individuals, that's Roger Bonds and D-Rock. They were all security. Was Diddy the sole owner? Yeah, 100% was owned by Diddy. All of it. Bad Boy Productions and films, records, etc. Okay? What was his role? Creative and marketing. Did some ventures have partners? Bad Boy Records was with Arista, also with Warner. Sean John Clothing had a partner as well. What were the profits? I mean, it was very profitable. We made a lot of money. How was Diddy paid? How did he actually pay himself? Sometimes he had a salary, sometimes distributions from the companies. What is a distribution? Can you kind of elaborate? Can you expand on that? If it was solely owned or passed through an S corp, the owner determined to draw down. Okay. Did each have a bank account? Yeah, they did. Could you sign on these specific accounts yourself? Yeah, I could. Which banks did Diddy's companies use? Citibank, HSBC, the Signature Bank. What is this one right here? That's Janice Combs Music Inc. It furnished his name and his likeness. Mr. Ferguson, are these your initials in Section 4? Yeah, it is. That was in September 29th, 2009. Is this also a business bank account? Yes, it is. And how about this one? Yeah, that's with Diageo. It has something to do with Ciroc. What was the count? How was this account funded? Inflows? Okay. What about credit cards? Primarily American Express. You know, they were used for expense reimbursements, that kind of thing. So did Diddy have an American Express as well? Yeah, he did. Did he use it for personal use as well as professional? Yeah, he did. And the companies paid for both professional and personal. Yeah, they did. How was outgoing cash handled? We had a petty cash account and cash advances, for example, for those traveling who didn't have American Express cards. So when Diddy was paid in cash, how did that actually work? Can you explain on that? We'd match if it was a contract. We'd match it if it's a contract. I guess that's what he's trying to say. Were you aware of Diddy's security staff carrying cash for him? I was not aware of that. And when you were responsible for his personal finances, what did you actually do? Well, I would budget for the year. Properties as well, inflows and outflows. What properties did he own? The Hamptons, New York, Miami. They were held in LCCs, maybe in LLCs, or maybe it's LCCs, for anonymity and liability reduction and tax benefits. Did you oversee other personal accounts of Diddy's? Yeah, I did. Were you aware of him supporting other people? Yes. From his personal earnings. All that came from his own personal cash. Okay. Your Honor, this might be a good place to take our break. Okay, how much more with this witness? 20 minutes, I think. And Jane, the Jane Doe that's apparently going to be coming out. They want to start her late tomorrow. We expect 2 days for her cross-examination. Only Mr. Ferguson today? Yes. And if defense cross goes long, may we stay late? They said, okay. And then the judge says, okay. So they go to their lunch break, or they go on a break, and then they come back. So let's see. That's Combs' least used lawyer, Jason Driscoll. I love how he said that. We barely heard from Jason Driscoll, but here he is saying something. The exhibit is full of hearsay. Yeah. Judge says, I have the gist. Ms. Foster, prosecution. Are you saying none of this for the truth? Says, yes. This is not excludable hearsay. The objection is overruled. How are we doing on the compilation video? We still object, defense says, but the compilation is put together. Yes. Or is it put together? Yes. We would like some material to be taken down and other relief. Okay. Bring the witness back. All right. Mr. Ferguson, he's back on the stand. Mr. Ferguson, before the break, we were discussing these bank records. So what is 207 Anderson LLC? Mr. Combs' property in Alpine, New Jersey. What is the mailing address? 1710 Broadway. What are these internal transfers here? So 190,000 and the 575,000 and 100,000. And I guess that was in December of 2011. So who decided whether to initiate in internal transfer, usually the comptroller. Do you remember these? No, I don't. And this outward transfer, to whom did it go to? This went to Cassie Ventura. For how much? $20,000. And this one coming in this is from Roderick Ventura for $20,000. When did you leave the CFO position? At the end of 2012, the then chief growth officer, the Revolt Media and TV. After you left, how often did you communicate with Mr. Combs? He texted me in 2024. I honestly don't remember what day. Let me show you. Oh, okay. I see. Nothing further. Defense, agnifilo. Here we go. So you grew up in the Bronx. No, I'm just kidding. So you grew up in the Bronx. Where did you go to high school? Stuyvesant. So where did you go to business school? Harvard, MBA, 1990. Interesting. Smart cat. Then BMG Music Group, right? Yeah. They own over 100 music labels worldwide. They own Arista, 50% of Bad Boy Records, and at 50% of Bad Boy Records at a certain point of time. Could Mr. Combs then do whatever he wanted? No. There were Arista agreements. Coming from the Bronx? Whoa. Wait, hold on. There were Arista agreements. Coming from the Bronx. I thought he needed more companies that would hire people from the actual community. I saw that in Diddy. I thought it was a chance to have an impact. What was the onboarding? Well, an interview, met some at Arista. I met Benny Medina, and some others. So you didn't just meet Diddy and get the job, right? No. It was much more of a process. How did Bad Boy change from 1999 to 2012? They added other businesses. Records were getting fairly competitive. Do you remember Notorious LLC? It was a magazine called Notorious. Yeah, I remember it. Bad Boy Records was established in 1993, right? I think it was in 1996. Did Bad Boy have connections to Interscope? Yes. And UMG and Rhino. Who's Andre Harrell? He founded Uptown Records, went to Motown, then back to Bad Boy. What was the spirits business called? Eventually, it was called Combs Wines and Spirits. I was involved in the start of Diageo. What issues arose with Diageo? Objection. What were there differences about how to market the liquor brand? There were always differences of opinion. We had conversations. How do we drive it more? Was the brand everywhere like competitors? Okay, then prosecution asked for a sidebar, and then they come back. Were you concerned that Diageo was marketing Ciroc primarily in certain areas to certain people? My opinion? On your personal knowledge. Distribution was highly concentrated. The question was why? Diageo was marketing it more in urban areas than more broadly. Okay. What about Revolt? It was owned by Highbridge Capital Management, which was purchased by JP Morgan Chase, right? Yeah, I think so. Highbridge had 2 seats. Yeah, 2 of 5 seats in Revolt. What kind of job and what kind of responsibilities did you have at Revolt? I was the COO. I was the chief operating officer. What did that entail? Finance, making sure production is done, And Diddy, he wasn't in management over there at that time, right? No, he was not. Let's take a look at Exhibit DX1901. It's about Combs Enterprises. Let's put it up, the redacted version, please. Okay, so here you have James Cruz and the HR officer of Vashta, after Vashta Wilson, Andre Harrell, and yourself. Yeah, this is the actual team. Yeah, that was the team. So what is digital? Your pause says enough. Personal versus business expenses. What's your accounting background? I was a CPA for a time. You never saw Diddy sitting reviewing his Amex bill, his American Express bill ever? No, I did not. When there was a partnership with another company, they would look at the books as well, right? Yeah, they would. Many high-profile people have personal accounts. Yes? Yeah, they really do. Yeah. Security was part of the business, correct? Yes, it was. Security's job was to be in close proximity with Diddy so that no one would do something dangerous to him, right? Of course, right. So let's talk about this cash. What was the cash receipt form? When is it actually used? For example, when they're on tour. So if they're out there touring, they'd be using these forms. Prosecution asks for another sidebar. They go into sidebar. This is very interesting. I'm wondering what the defense is trying to go with. Like, what's their approach here? What's the angle? You know what I mean? What's the angle, love? And what does certain people mean? They're talking about demographics, groovy baby. Okay, groovy baby. They're talking about black people. Let's be real. They're talking about certain people. And of course, you know, there's been a lot of, and I'm glad we're talking about the liquor. So let's talk about that liquor. Because apparently there's been a lot of theory about Diddy making claims about the brands that he was working with and how he wanted to branch out and become more mainstream, meaning he wants more white people drinking his liquor, okay? And he felt like there was some sort of blockage, okay? Kind of like what the Punisher was dealing with. But, you know, but here's the thing. He really, really wanted to get that stuff out there. And he wants it to be more of a mainstream brand that is not just being marketed to the black community, that it's everybody drinking his stuff. I mean, that's really, if you really think about it, that's all what he's been working on. He's been building his brand to be that household guy, the non-threatening black guy. Yes, I said it. Hey, it's the Will Smith. It's the Will Smith of the, you know, hip hop world, right? Will Smith, I mean, until Will Smith went and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth, right? Until he went up and slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's face, right? Will Smith was like, he could do no harm. I can trust him, right? But now, in a way, Will Smith now has a little bit more street cred, which is crazy. But one thing's for sure, Diddy has been building a brand, trying to be that guy, trying to be Kevin Hart. I said it. Kevin Hart. And now I'm not even saying anything bad about what Kevin Hart has done. I think he's got a great brand. But aside from him being caught, you know, slapping cheeks in a video because he's rolling his balls off in that video, aside from Kevin Hart being caught doing that, he is still a household brand, a household name. white people would sit there and go, come on in, Kevin Hart. Oh, I thought you were hilarious. Man, you're a lot shorter than I expected, but you're hilarious, right? Come here. We're about to have spaghetti. We're about to have spaghetti and meatballs. Come on, sit down. It's going to be fantastic. My kids really love to get the bread out and make them out of little sandwiches. Come on, sit down. We're going to have some spaghetti sandwiches. Come on, Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? They want, you know what I'm saying? So Diddy really was trying, and he's been successful with that until he got caught, right? He's been that household brand. Has he not? So, with that being said, he wants his brands to expand. He's been able to sell Sean John to everyone. He's been able to be in all kinds of movies, not just black-centric movies, but he's been in big movies for white audiences and for pop culture and more crossover movies. That's what they like to call it, right? So allegedly, they were saying there's been this big theory and speculation on why he's being caught up right now because of these brands that he was trying to expand out beyond just the black community. Because, of course, if he's able to get everyone to drink his stuff, he makes a whole lot more money. You see what I'm saying? If he can have Ciroc become the Pepsi of liquor, of vodka, okay, he gonna make a whole lot more money because then everybody wants to drink it, right? But unfortunately, apparently he was saying, and he was going into some huge lawsuit, apparently, saying, hey, they're trying to block me. They are racist because they don't want me to expand. And then now he's in his situation right now. That's allegedly the theory that's been going on out here. So it is very interesting when you hear, it's just very interesting when you hear something like this, right? When you hear a situation, they're bringing up the enterprises, they're bringing up Diageo, they're bringing up the liquor brand. And this is the defense talking about this. So he may have read something or heard something from some YouTube video or some TikTok video, and he's like, well, you know, let's go down this road real quick, right? But again, let me see what it says here. See, Diageo, and this is from Ferguson, okay? He says Diageo was marketing it more in urban areas than more broadly. And Diddy wanted Diageo to expand and broadcast and promote the stuff to everyone. Like I said, he wanted his Cirocs and his other liquors, whatever other brands he's got, his tequila brand, all that stuff. He wanted all that stuff out there for everyone to consume. Again, he really wanted to become, and he was, for a good portion until he got caught, he wanted to be that non-threatening, very welcoming black guy. Will Smith, Kevin Hart, shoot, Eddie Murphy, okay? Bill Cosby, all of them. Oh, he's invited to our dinner, you know? He's invited to our barbecue. I know you people call it a cookout, but we call it a barbecue right here. More people consume his stuff, the more money he makes. Real talk. So it is very interesting that they're bringing up this conversation right now. Let's see if there's any updates here. Still nothing. Dang. Diggity dang. So they have the sidebar. This is a minute in. So let's take a look at this. Oh, yeah, let's not forget, okay? Take a good look at my face. You know what I mean? Even Smokey. The tracks of my tears. Oh, I need you. You know what I mean? And now he's in some serious trouble now, too. Hamburger. Let's go. So, did you see anyone help Diddy commit crimes? Ferguson says, no, I did not. Did you see anyone make the company stronger through coercion? Can you explain that one? What do you mean by coercion? The defense says, fair enough. Never mind. As we wait, hold on, let me get some of these super chats. Carbonize, thank you. Pascal, our angel, thanks for going through this with us. Now we hit up Red Bull for a sponsor. No, not Red Bull, but Monster. The sugar-free Monsters are Monster. Holla. I will be glad to promote your stuff. That stuff is getting me through many a day. Okay, so Carbonize, please, thank you so much for that, and of course, yes, guys, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to do that, please, and thank you. Black Anonymous, what's up? Thank you so much for the love. Everything about Diddy is weird at this point. Yes, but it was weird from the very beginning. I mean, everything from when that video came out with him attacking Cassie. I mean, that was weird enough, and weird doesn't even scratch the surface of describing what we saw in that video, right? But then on top of that, it's like everything else is weird. All the freak off parties, all the baby oil, all that stuff, all the substances. I mean, I don't know how anyone can actually conduct oneself under those kinds of circumstances, especially when it comes to a copious amount of substances all day, every day. Real talk. How are you able to conduct business meetings when you're just out your freaking mind on some sort of substance? I don't know how people do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I just couldn't. And thank God I couldn't. Okay. But again, Charity, thank you so much. Whoop, whoop. Get Ingrid's true tea. Okay. From the fabulous bomb diggity on the Diddy. Thank you so much. Much love to you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But again, yeah, like this is, I just don't know how anybody can conduct oneself for this long in life, make major deals happen, but be out your mind. Just weird. Let's continue. So he said, I don't understand what you mean by this coercion thing, but can you expand on that a little bit? This is what Ferguson asked defense. Okay. So he comes back through SA, a coercion through SA or teeing. Fergie says no. Okay. You were there 19 years. That must have been tough. How hard was it? Building it from scratch? I mean, yeah, it was tough. There was a lot of long hours. Did you send Diddy a text on November of 2017? I don't remember. I don't think so. Don't worry, I'll show you. And now we wait. Now, what's interesting is, of course, we've seen so far Fergie, I'm calling him Fergie now, okay? Fergie, has shown paperwork of these said wire transfers that were done by Cassie Ventura's dad, which shows proof positive that Cassie Ventura's parents were indeed bribed. They sent that money, $20,000 to Diddy. Sure, that money went back to the Venturas, but still, that still happened. It does not matter. It still happened. So again, we're seeing here that there is a lot as far as what Ferguson can confirm. The bribery, the blackmail, all that is being confirmed. Okay, or at least, sorry, the blackmailing has been confirmed. So he is guilty for that, at least on that count. Remember, They're trying. This is where they're supersizing and they're doubling down on the racketeering and RICO charges. So this is where things get thicker than a snicker right about now. Okay? Yep. Thank you. My shepherd pie. Thank you. Extortion and the blackmails. Okay? And not the blackmails that he likes, but the blackmail where people gotta spend money. Okay? Yeah. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Pretty bad for him. We got an update from NBC. We're going to get to it here in a second. But he said, it's been, for 19 years, that's a long time. That must have been really tough. How hard was it? He says, building from scratch. Yep, there was a lot of long hours. Did you send Diddy a text in November of 2017? He says, I don't really recall. And Agnifilo goes, oh, don't worry. I'll show you. So, did you tell Diddy you learned so much from him? Yeah, I did. He pushed the entire team. He had a lot of passion. You're a religious man, right? Prosecution says, objection! No discussion about God. Okay, I'm just kidding. But they say, objection! Judge says, sustained. Prosecution says, you're on the board of his charter school, right? Ferguson says, yeah, so you're on the board of his charter schools. So he says, yes, I am. The school tries to work with at-risk children, right? Prosecution says, objection, 403. Sustained. Let's move on. Do you think highly of Diddy? I really don't know how to respond to that. Prosecution says, sidebar. So then all of a sudden, Agnifilo says, nothing further. Interesting, right? Why does that have anything to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Let's read through that one more time. Did you send a text message to him in November of 2017? He says, I don't really recall. Agnifilo says, hey, don't worry. I got you, bro. You see it up there? Okay. Did you tell Diddy you learned so much from him? He says, yes, of course. He pushed the entire team. He had great passion. You're a religious man, aren't you? Huh? What is that all about? How's your relationship with the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? You close with the G-O-D? Like, what does that mean? So then prosecution apparently is upset about talking about God. So again, objection sustained. Then prosecution says, you're on the board of his charter school. Maybe that's Agnifilo saying that, and that's a typo. You're on board of his charter school, are you not? Yes, I am. The school tries to work with at-risk children, right? Then prosecution says, objection. Then judge says, move on. Agnifilo says, okay. Do you think highly of Diddy? Fergie says, I don't really know how to respond to that. Sidebar, nothing further. Huh. What in the F is going on? So redirect. Okay. Was Revolt Films entirely separate from Revolt TV? Yes, it was. Who's the head of Revolt Films? I honestly don't know. Did you ever stay in a hotel with Diddy? Ever? No, I did not. This is weird. Like I said, this doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, Ellery, I feel like Ellery, I feel that defense dragging this on. Let's like, come on. Yeah, it feels weird. It's like, do you like ice cream? Is there anything that you're allergic to that Diddy might be allergic to as well? Are there things that you have in common with him? Have you ever had tea? Can you tell us your opinion about tea? Do you like tea? How do you feel about long walks on a beach? Did you enjoy that when you did it one time? Like, who cares? Exactly, Parker. Raspberries. It just doesn't make sense to me. How's your relationship with God? Like, and here's the other thing too. Doesn't matter if he thinks highly of Diddy. Doesn't matter if he is on the same board for a charter school. If he is subpoenaed and told to come in to testify, and under oath he is asked to do certain things, like ask questions about the paperwork, and he's the head of finances and all that, and he's like, yep, I can see through this, I can read the language that's on the board right there, and it says proof positive that money came from this man when he was actually being extorted for his daughter. I can see more over here with this money being, like, there's a whole bunch of money being moved around. I can see right there, this is what I do for a living. I take care of the monies. So it doesn't even matter. It's interesting because it almost seems as if, like, Agnifilo is kind of being like, well, we need to leave on a high note. We need you to say how much you love working for Diddy and how much of an amazing man he was. Can we just get a little bit of a little bit of solace for our man Diddy? Come on, Fergie. Did you look up to him? Were you guys friends? Would you say he was a good man? And what is Fergie saying? I don't know how to respond to that. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be over here not responding. That's what it seems like, right? Because every other person, for the most part, has gone and reached out to Diddy, ex-employee of some sort, has done some line of like, it was the best experience I ever had. He was the best boss. He was so amazing and so positive and so passionate about what he did. I learned so much from this man. You, man. No, you, man. You know what I mean? They'll say all this crazy scathing stuff. Yeah, I've seen him put his hands on such and such and blah, blah, blah. But at the end, I learned so much from this man. He was amazing. I even went back and tried to get another job, but he said no. But still, I'd do anything to work with him again. You know what I mean? What? Kind of feels like that. Everybody else said something really nice and positive about him. It's like they're doing another birthday video. You know what I'm saying? Say something positive about him before you leave. I really enjoy how you smell. Happy birthday. You know what I'm saying? Son of a bitch. Okay, let's take a look at this. The defense floundering. Today is not a good day for the defense. I know some of y'all that are pro Diddy are going to be in your fee-fees and get all super mad. But I'm telling you right now, no. Okay? This is not good. Today's not a good day. But let's continue. He bougetto. Yes, Denny. He ratchet, but he bougetto. Okay? He bougetto. All right? But let's continue. Here it is. So his ex-finance chief says he tried to keep track of company taxes. Amid questioning from Agnifilo, Fergie said Combs' personal and business expenses were kept separate and that tax records were closely monitored. Okay. I would do everything I could to make it financially impropriety. I'm sorry. Make it financial impropriety did not happen. Okay. So he tried to make sure that financial impropriety did not happen under his watch. Okay. Interesting. And that's it with that. Very interesting, So they said, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever stay in a hotel with Diddy? Did you ever go and hang out with Diddy in a freak off? And he's like, no, hell no. So on this original chart or organization chart, I don't know. Organized chart, I don't know what that is. The org chart. Who is the chairman? Fergie says it's Diddy. And you see Christina Courtroom here, right? She's in this list, right? Yeah, I do. Do you see the name Mia? Yeah, development and acquisitions. Nothing further. Like I said. Recross. Okay. You didn't ever go to his home or hotel because that's his personal life, right? Prosecution says objection sustained. Defense says nothing further. Jurors, you may go. All rise. So with Jane tomorrow, this is okay. So they got done with him. All right. Which is very interesting. Okay. It's very interesting. And it's the weirdest. That is the weirdest cross-examination I've seen. Like, it's the weirdest thing. You didn't go to his home or his hotel because that's his personal life, right? Like, and I'm still kind of trying to understand why, right? Okay. Whoops. I'll try, Debbie. I'll try to see if I can do that. Give me a little bit, but apparently if I tried to enlarge the actual emojis, they become too big for the actual to be used as member emojis. Just so you know, because I tried different ways and it just was not allowing for it to be bigger, unfortunately. Okay, but I'll try to see what I can do with that. Okay, Debbie. But thank you so much for asking. I'll do what I can. Okay, Carmenize, thank you so much for the super chat. Do hard-boiled eggs scare you, Fergie? Yeah, right. I'm just saying, right? How's a soft hard-boiled egg? Does that make you? Do you feel like secretions betwixt your butt cheeks right now when you hear about the soft hard-boiled egg? Does that make you a little moist from the waist down? And I'm not saying like you like excited, like horny. I'm just saying, is that a nervous? Does that make your butt twitch? Does it? Okay. It's just weird. It's just weird. Well, let's move on. Let's move on. You know what I mean? It's like, did you party with him? Were you doing lines of blow, just ripping and roaring with him over here in his hotel, in his homes? Were you actually holding one of the cameras whilst talking to him about, making transactions and stuff? Like, come on. All right. Simi, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it all the way from Canada. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Love and support you. My daughter Sage loves when you're on. Thank you so much. I'm curious, how old is your daughter? I'd like to know. So if she's like 6, I will work on the language. Okay. But I'd love to know. Thank you so much for the support. I love when a family is watching, and enjoying the commentary and the content together. I appreciate that. That really does make me smile. Real talk, it does. But if you can disclose that information, I'd love to know. Okay. But moving on, I think that it's very weird that defense would ask those kind of questions. Like, oh, she's 16. Okay, good. So anything I've said, she's already heard at least 1 million times in her life. So that's good. Yeah. Hey, okay. I appreciate the support. Right on. But like I said, all right, as far as the defense goes, this is very strange. Their cross is very strange. And I don't know what they were trying to allude to. I maybe they are maybe they're trying to, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to, honestly, I'm trying to understand. I don't understand their approach here. I'm going to be real. I don't understand their approach here. Like I said, it's like, oh, did you ever sit down and eat lunch with him ever? Like, what? You didn't go to his home or hotel because That's his personal life, right? What does that mean exactly? Hold on. We got more. Okay. It ain't over yet. And of course, like I said a million times before, hit that mother loving like. Okay. Hit that like button down below. All right. We're almost at 1K. Just hit the like. Just hit the like. Please and thank you. And don't forget to crush that subscribe button. Subscribe. Please and thank you. That would really, really mean the world to me. Okay. Your boy's working hard out here in these streets. Please and thank you. Okay. Please and thank you. Subscribe, hit that like button. We're like, we got so many people in the chat. If you just hit the like, we'll be beyond 1K so fast. Okay. So hit that like button down below. It doesn't cost a thing and it helps the channel. Please and thank you. Oh, and then also tomorrow we will be starting a little bit earlier. All right. So it will be a longer show. Just so you guys know. So you'll find out. It's going to be in the morning for sure. Still trying to gauge a few things, but I'll let you guys know when I upload, when I set up the show for tomorrow morning. I'm looking at around like 9 Central Standard Time is when I'll be live. Okay, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, I know that the trial technically would be starting at 8 a.m. My time, Central Standard Time, but still, I'll be on at 9. Okay, and then probably the next day will be an hour earlier, and then the next 2 days will be like 8 o'clock in the morning. Just so you guys know, and I'll probably be breaking them into 2 different shows. For the morning show, then take that lunch break, just shut everything off, start a brand new one. Okay, start a brand new feed for the lunch after the lunch break. Okay. Just so you guys know. Okay. Crystal, thank you so much. And we got some things here, so we're not done yet, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's going on for the rest of this week. Okay. My grandma, I love your coverage and humor. We watch every day and appreciate all your hard work. Crystal, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. And yes, I agree. This case is absolutely insane. Okay. Lock up Diddy. We'll see. I want to see, like I said, I'm hopping back and forth. Yes, I think there's a lot of things that he is going to jail for. He is going to prison for some serious things, which we will talk about in just a minute. But one thing is for sure, though. Okay. One thing is for sure. We still have not seen what the defense has up their sleeve as well. They still have several weeks to present their argument as well and defend and have a chance to defend Diddy's honor, right? Defend Diddy's side of everything. So I'm still waiting to see about that too, right? Then the other thing too is my shepherd pie. Yeah, he is definitely a monster. He is a serial monster in my personal opinion, but that's not what he's on trial for. Unfortunately, he is not looking at these charges because he's an actual monster. He is on trial for extortion, blackmailing, bribing, and all those things, arson, etc. Right? So now it's a question on if he's going to be hit and charged with those things. And what's being presented so far, today at least, man, damning stuff for sure. I am still here, guys. Don't worry. I am still mother loving here. This just does this from time to time because we back. But again, like I said, there are some things that they presented today that are not good. Eddy, Garcia, 1-2 punch. Really bad for the bribing side of things, for sure. Okay. Then Ferguson, Fergie, London. Fergie coming in, showing the transactions of money when he was extorting the family, when he was extorting Cassie Ventura's family and everything. That shows proof positive of those financial records. That's not good. Okay. So again, that's not great. But let's take a look at what NBC just said here really quick. Where he said he was keeping track of the company's taxes. He said that there was a separate personal and business expenses. They were kept separate, which is massive. Okay. But Lee Vincent, you know what I mean? He took that 20 grand, y'all, from Cassie's parents. And then days later, looks like 4 days later, he returned that money back to the family. But still, the extortion, that blackmail, did actually happen. And it was a successful transaction. It wasn't like he just threatened them and there's no paperwork to back it up. No, no, no. Plenty of paperwork backing that ass up. Bad. Moving on. Former CFO says he didn't see evidence of alleged crimes. So, of course, Fergie said he doesn't know of any specific crimes his ex-boss might have committed. So Agnifilo asked Fergie several questions, inquiring if the witness had ever seen Diddy commit an act of violence, use coercion, or enlist the help of an employee to commit an illegal act. Of course, each time he was asked this question, Fergie said, guess what? A big fat ass no. Ferguson probably gave the prosecution all it really needed from him earlier in his testimony when he confirmed that a $20,000 payment was made from Ventura's family to Diddy. Exactly, like I said. All the prosecution wanted to do was show that that transaction did indeed happen. Doesn't matter about the other ones where he's like, well, Fergie's like, well, there was another transaction that happened after with Cassie, but then there was another transaction that happened. No one cares. No one cares. They just wanted to show proof positive that the extortion, the blackmail did actually happen and that it did go down. Here's proof positive of this. Okay. Now have yourself a holly jolly Christmas. You see what I'm saying? So, just so you know. And Lil Patty, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like my objection. I appreciate it. Okay? I need to record that and just hit a button every time. Moving on, though. We got more. Ferguson was never in Diddy's homes or in his hotel rooms, he says. So prosecution offered a brief redirect of Fergie, where the former financial chief was asked to qualify his time with Diddy after the defense questioned him on observations of criminal conduct or lack thereof. Now I get it. So in a way, they were like, oh, were you ever in his house? Were you ever around him? They basically were trying to say, did you ever see Diddy get violent with anybody in his home? Were you ever in the vicinity of any of these moments of violence? You worked closely with Diddy, right? You actually were the chairman of his charter school, were you not? So you saw him a lot, right? And he's like, well, I wouldn't say I saw him all the time. I wouldn't say I saw him a lot. But they were like, wait a second, but you didn't see him put his paws on anybody? You didn't see any of that stuff? You see, now they're trying to make it seem like, oh, this CFO doesn't have enough important things to do, like making sure that the money stays flowing for all these businesses, that he would have time to be over at Diddy's crib, having a Coke and a smile, seeing Diddy throw a pan at Cassie because his eggs aren't cooked fast enough. You see what I'm saying? So that's why prosecution's like, stop with the stupid questions, right? So he testified that he worked in the New York office for Diddy's company and had not spent time in his hotel rooms or private residences with him because he has other things to do, like count the doggone money. So jury done for the day. So the attorneys hash out details for the week. I think this is important for us to hear as well. So the jury has been dismissed as attorneys stay back to discuss additional details on how the rest of the week will go. This is going to be interesting because apparently victim number 2, all right, Jane Doe, is supposed to be going on later tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be another big fat ass day. So again, prosecution has expressed some sort of concern for the identity of victim number 2, okay? They're worried that people are going to start talking. As soon as they see her face, they're going to be like, oh, it's J-Lo. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying. People are going to be like, oh, I've been seeing her face, and it's Shaka Khan. You know what I mean? Just wait for it. It's not Shaka Khan. I don't know why her name popped up in my head. Just roll with me. But anyway, they're requesting that her face isn't shown in the public overflow rooms to avoid publicly outing her as Mia as how Mia was exposed this week as well. Jane is expected to take the stand Thursday. Diddy's attorneys once again are asking for more time with him without a dividing screen because they wish to go over text messages between him and Jane that will likely be entered into evidence at the last freaking minute, like they've been doing over the last couple freaking weeks. Have they not? Oh, here's 500 pieces of evidence that we want to use on Capricorn Clark. Here's 300 text messages and exhibits that we want to use on Cassie 5 seconds before we're supposed to, before court is supposed to start. That's just what they've been doing, that type of BS. Okay. So very, very interesting day for sure. Okay. Now, hopefully, we all hope that the Jane Doe is somebody that we do know. So victim number 2, who apparently is going to be going up there, and then she is going to be, I guess they're going to be riding off on victim number 2 throughout the rest of this week. So like I said, it's going to be a massively big last half of the week. Okay. Depending on what's next. Now, hold on. Because they did put in a list. Where's that? Oh, man. Where is it? Sorry, guys. One second. Because I thought that they had a list of names again. And so I was just wanting to make sure that we had, so I could just read the names off so that we're all on the same page. So we know what's next, right? So that's one thing I'm still for sure wanting to make sure we see. Blah. Yeah. Expected to return about 20 minutes. Yeah, I guess I can't find it right now. But it's going to be somebody else, and then it's going to be victim number. Then it's going to be victim number 2, this Jane Doe. Okay. I can't find it right now, but doesn't matter. They have somebody else coming in tomorrow, and then after that, it will be the Jane Doe. And then apparently they're saying, prosecution's like, it looks like they're going to, we're going to leave room for 2 days for cross. Because they believe that the defense is going to drag their feet, right? They're going to pick and prod and nitpick the hell out of Jane Doe, just like they did with Mia. Now, here's the thing. Let's talk about Mia, okay? Let's just talk about Mia for 2 seconds. First off, Mia's testimony crashed and burned. It's Dawn and Mia's testimony that have been trash. They were destroyed. There is too much room for doubt. There is too many rooms for questions. Well, here's the other part too that kind of frustrated me as well. The defense didn't even present any exhibits. From my understanding, they didn't show proof of certain things. They would just say, didn't you text him about this, that, and the third? Didn't you say that you loved him? Blah, 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 right? The defense didn't show that. But what's the problem is that it doesn't matter. What's being said is said. If they say it, it gets lodged into the juror's brain. It doesn't change anything. But the fact that she answers and says, yes, I did respond with that. I did tell him that I loved him. I did say this, that, and the third. Of course, that's going to bring a lot of doubt. It's discrediting the hell out of her. And I even said in the very beginning, yesterday was very good for the defense. At least when it comes to Mia, she fell apart on that stand. Now, I know that some people are like, oh, Well, sometimes when it comes to trauma like that, it takes time for somebody to process and blah, blah, blah. But she's had, I'm going to say it, sitting as a juror. If I was in there as a juror, there's plenty of questions where you sit there and go, wait a second. Well, she's had plenty of opportunities to present that as leverage, as ammo against Diddy when she was filing lawsuits against him, etc. She had a multitude of interviews with the feds that she didn't even say anything about this essay until out of nowhere it came out. So just speaking on the side of a juror who's watching it for the very first time, hearing all of this information, for a fact they're going, well, wait a second. Why would she sit there and say, that doesn't make any sense? Why is she suddenly saying that now? That's weird. Right? That's weird. So I can see when it comes to that, the defense did a good job. I'm sorry. They brought in Brian Steele. He came in guns a-blazing. And yeah, her whole thing dismantled right in front of our very eyes. Now, outside of that, today, this is a big day for prosecution. This was big because they have people showing and saying that they were in the room doing these transactions with Diddy where he was bribing people. We have now a CFO, former CFO of his companies saying, I was here. Here are the wire transfers of these specific monies that were transferred back and forth from Cassie's mom or from Cassie's dad. And then that money came back to Cassie's dad and all that stuff. Like I said, these are all bad things. Having Eddy Garcia come in, he even was paid $30,000 for just making the deal happen, exchanging the video and getting the $100,000. He still walked away with a huge chunk of that money. He came up, swore under oath that he was there and that he was given this money. Diddy was calling him his angel, giving tea, talking about this fantastic tea. Diddy, at least, was talking about this fantastic tea that he was drinking, that he loves to drink, trying to get all chummy and friendly with the guy, handing him $100,000 and getting that thumb drive so that video could never be seen or heard about ever again, which, of course, that didn't work out in his favor. Now, did it? But again, today was a bad one for Diddy. It definitely was. Again, I call it like I see it. Yesterday, Mia was destroyed by defense. They poked holes out of everything that she said. Well, not everything, but majority of the things that she said. I will sit here and say this. I believe that she did definitely jump on the top, on the back of Diddy. I believe that Diddy threw her off his back, just like Deontay Nash was jumping on his back, trying to protect Cassie. I believe all of those things for sure. But when it gets very hairy and gets very fuzzy is when she starts talking about all the other things that she endured by Diddy. And I'm not sitting here saying all of them. I believe that she was hurt by Diddy. Maybe the essays are true, but still, there are no reportings and no proof of those things so far. And again, if those things really did happen, why would she not use that as ammo when she's going for that $10 million lawsuit that ended up being negotiated down to $400,000? I get it. Takes some time for people to process things. I get it. But when you look at the situation, when you get time to sit back and think about it, it's like, wait a second, that was an opportunity for leverage, for her to walk away with a win, if that's what she saw as justice. Her own version of justice can be financial too. If she can't get them criminally, see what I'm saying? So again, it is a very interesting situation. Like I said, I'm hopping back and forth. I'm not sitting here saying that I don't believe Mia, but I also feel like the defense went and just poked the hell out of holes in her situation. And then there's the other thing too. Maybe she, I don't know. Some people think that she had some sort of crush or obsession with Diddy, that if she could be the blonde version of Cassie for him, that maybe that's what she was trying to achieve and never achieved that, never became what she was hoping she'd become for him. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's just something that people are speculating out here in these streets. But we'll see what happens as more goes on, right? Let's see. Someone just said, relax, release, rest. Just said, keep reading Inner City Press. Tomorrow's going to be scandalous. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's take a look. Thank you. Rest or relax, release, rest. Thank you so much. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what they say. So with Jane tomorrow, we want to avoid the type of accident, which we already heard from NBC News. They were trying to avoid her face or anything of that sort, her identity getting revealed, which I totally understand. So we want the public screens turned off. We want to avoid a situation where she's accidentally non-redacted. Okay. So again, they say, okay, that's fine for Jane's testimony. The new compilation, I understand there is still a defense objection. This is what prosecution said. Judge says, I don't need further argument on that. I think the judge is done with the defense. I'm going to be real. I think he's at wit's end with them. All right. But anyway, prosecution says, I do intend to show Jane some explicit videos. I propose we turn off the attorney's screens so the gallery can't see those things either. Interesting. So Diddy is prevented. Defense says Diddy is prevented from processing any of the text messages of Jane. Here's the ask. We need to meet with our client in a place with a desk with no separation so we can go through these text messages. The judge says, can you do it if you leave now? Could you do it if you leave now and get out of my face because you're annoying as F? Agnifilo says, what is we use the courtroom tonight? Is it possible we could use the courtroom tonight? There will be marshals here. Fine with us. He needs to see the texts. He can only see them when he is with us, I guess. We need more time without a screen between us, and it's a Sixth Amendment issue. Oh, they brought out the constitutionals. Anyway, moving on. These text messages were produced in Rule 16 discovery. They've had them for months. We expect the direct of Jane to run to Monday. Oh, snap. So they're going to be doing this for the whole week with a direct with Jane, with this Jane Doe, till Monday. So they'll have the weekend to get everything suited and booted. Ain't that crazy? They said, yo, you're going to have plenty of time to go through this. Even though we gave this to you months ago, don't worry, you're going to have plenty of time because she's going to go from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we're going to start again on Monday. We ain't done with her because she's a big witness, y'all. Woo! So the judge says, are the texts sensitive? Prosecution says, yep, there are people in their birthday suits. A paralegal could sit with Mr. Combs. We just need a solution. Why does the screen prevent you? Paint a picture for me. The defense says, well, the screen is a thick mesh. You want to see with your client and use a highlighter. So you mean to tell me the screen is a thick mesh, and that's why he can't see no text messages? Stop it. You can't just put it up against the screen and goes, can you see it? Don't worry, I'll read it to you. Why does he need to be? No, they just want him to have a little bit more time so he can order like a pizza and not eat that prison food. Okay. Wait a second. What? Phenomenal Scorpio. What? Why are they starting later on Thursday, baby? Have you heard that court will start later on Thursday? Well, maybe they say it here in this from Inner City Press. So give me a second. That's news to me though. So again, he says the screen is thick mesh. You want to see with your client and use a highlighter. Okay. So he says there's time in the courthouse, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and after. For the SFIF, we need a special officer, I'm told. Defense says the courtroom would be better. We don't mind the marshals. We won't pay no mind to the marshals. Okay, there are marshal service issues. We still oppose the compilation video. It would be better if we had the original. And why don't we? The defense says it would be deleted 10 days anyway. It would be deleted after 10 days anyway. What is really going on here? That's what I'd like to know. What is really going on here? But I'm interested in hearing about them starting later on Thursday. I'm curious about that too. I am kind of curious about that. That is a very interesting situation. Hold on. I'm trying to see if there's any other updates. And I am also curious about this compilation video. What compilation video are you talking about, right? Yeah, Wiley, the Brian Steele cross was not good today. Like, not at all. None of it was good in my personal opinion. A lot of it was just like, what? You know, a lot of it. And it's not even just Brian Steele. It was all of defense. So it does make you, you know, you just sit there and like, what is that all about? Why do you ask those weird and dumbass questions? This is just dumbass questions, y'all. Hold on. We got something here. Sorry. Okay, 1 second. So apparently, because I remember it being, hold on. Well, we got a list of witnesses. Thanks so much for sharing this, April. Thank you. I appreciate it. But we had all of these individuals. I'm guessing. I'm guessing this is all within chronological order. Capricorn Clark. No, this is not in. So Ferguson's here. So Frank Piazza. Then we have Banna. So maybe they're planning on going through these pretty quickly here. I thought did we do Enrique Santos? But Banna's supposed to be talking because Banna got dangled over a balcony, right? But of course, we're dealing with her as with Jane Doe as well. And then Jordan, and then James Cruz. Because here is Derek Ferguson right here. So I'm assuming these three here are going to be, they're going to blaze through these three, right? At least that's what I think. Hold on real quick. L, thank you so much. I'll miss tomorrow, but I'll catch up when I can. Okay. Well, I appreciate you being here and watching. All right. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Mikia, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Something sounds fishy. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't know if anything's fishy. It just does make you wonder what's going on Thursday that would make them allegedly go later, if that's actually true. But we do know that Eddy Garcia was up. Then we had Derek Ferguson. So shout out to the Diddy docket. Real talk. They've been on their stuff too, and give them their flowers. Real talk. They've been putting in the work over here too. So Frank Piazza. So it'd be Frank Piazza, Bana, Enrique Santos. Sorry, Enrique Santos. So this is a forensic audio video expert. Expert. So this is going to be very interesting here. Okay. So they're going to be talking about, like, I guess, the authenticity of the videos and all of that. This one shouldn't be very long. This should not be a very long direct and cross. Okay. Bana could be a little while. As far as the radio host and chief and executive creative officer of iHeart Latino, I don't know what this is all about. I'm quite curious as to why he's going to be brought up and taking the stand, but that will be very interesting. But of course, near the tail end of tomorrow, if all these go through like one fell swoop tomorrow, victim number 2, near the end of the day, of court day, they will be bringing in Jane Doe, victim number 2, to talk about all of this and what she experienced. Remember, allegedly, this victim number 2 is an ex-girlfriend of Diddy's. She also alleges of being put through these freak-offs as well. Let's not forget that too. So this Jane Doe is going to be speaking about her experience, like the same experience that she had, like she's going to be echoing basically the same experience that she had, like Cassie, except it might be a little bit more intense. Because you got to remember, it looks like Cassie was the first person. She was the original. She was like the OG of the freak-offs. And then he moved on. And I guarantee you his stuff got even more insane and even more intense as time went on. So again, this is going to be very, very interesting when Jane Doe takes the stand. But I'm here. I mean, because the Frank Piazza, I'm like, okay. It's going to be very technical stuff. Like, is that an authentic video of the attack? Right? Those kind of things. And he's going to be like, yep, it is. But I'm very interested about Bana. I'm curious about Enrique. And I'm very interested to hear what victim number 2 has to say. So tomorrow's going to be interesting. And you never know. Defense might try to drag this stuff out so that they don't have to hear anything tomorrow. But again, we're only in the middle of the week. So this is going to be a very, very interesting time, guys. Man, oh man, what a list of people coming forward very soon. But what say you guys? Do you think that today was a good one for prosecution, or do you think this was a bad one for prosecution? Of course, keep the conversation going down below or in the family chat, wherever you're watching this. But again, in my personal opinion, this was a crash and burn for Diddy. And when it comes to those allegations and those charges of extortion and blackmail, bribery, he in trouble for those. That's for sure. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. We'll be talking here very, very soon. Okay? We'll be talking very soon. But I appreciate you guys for being here. Seriously. Please hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Please and thank you. Okay? If you're watching all those other platforms, make sure you're hitting that follow button. All right? Follow if you can. That'll be amazing. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys, and we'll be talking very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.